Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, the off-road show that brings you all the results, news, and online shenanigans that make being online a good time. We'd like to say thank you to Fly Racing for their support of Seat Time. Please go check them out at flyracing.com.
Oh, welcome to Seat Time, everybody. Brian Pierce here. It is so awesome to be back on the couch. Of course, as you guys know, Papa Pierce is back here. One of the cool things that we just got done doing is the Rip To Cabo with the Desert Assassins and Cameron Steele, brought to you by Bulletproof Diesel. Got to make sure you get in all your sponsors, as we will do here with our own shortly. Of course, it's been a while. 2 weeks ago, big thanks to Jordan Bailey and Cooper Bailey for filling in while we were making our way to San Felipe. Unfortunately, because it was so late, we could not make it onto the show, but that's okay. They did a great job. Really, really appreciate that. We didn't have a show last week because, again, it was too crazy in Cabo. My wife and I, we were having fun. We were drinking. We were doing things everybody wished they had pictures of, but that's okay, too. So Seat Time, brought to you by the fine folks over at Fly Racing, Stillwell Performance, and, of course, Kinda Tire USA. We will talk about them more throughout the show, and, of course, we're going to have the Pint Full of Awesome Award. So thank you, everybody, for hashtagging Pint Full of Awesome on your Instagram post. We're going to have those awards a little bit later. If you don't know, there is a chat room, tlk.io/seattime. That way you can help us with the show a little bit. If you've got comments, you've got questions, if you think my nose hairs need to be trimmed, that is definitely the place to go drop in, because that way you help shape the show. And we, of course, appreciate you doing that. Let's see, what other kind of house cleaning type stuff do we have to do? Sponsors. Oh, where is the site archived? Of course, we have the site, seattime.co. If you're watching live, you're most likely there. So you can catch all the archive shows there on the site. If for some strange reason you are just thinking that either my father, darn you, or myself are not that attractive, you can, of course, just use Stitcher or iTunes, and it's just a podcast for you guys. So if you think we're sexy, please watch us live. If not, that's okay. You can catch the audio on the podcast version. So some of the stuff that just happened, Big Buck, GNCC, Caleb Russell goes 4 in a row, wins. That's insane. Round 4 of the National Enduros. Russell Bobbitt gets his first win. Works. Gary Sutherland's back. Gary Sutherland gets a win. And Rip To Cabo with the Desert Assassins. Of course, because of the fact that we are so privileged to have Cameron Steele on the show for the first time, hopefully not the last, we're going to go right to Rip To Cabo. So let's start it off. Mr. Cameron Steele, how is your evening going, kind sir?
It's going good. I got my pint full of awesome, so to speak. Got my Pacifico, and I got my trophy girl.
There you go.
So we're all good.
I got my trophy girl too. Woohoo! So sexy. Ow!
Lucky him, huh?
Yeah, right.
After I saw both you guys cruising down the beach in your Speedos in Cabo, I'm not sure that it's all that sexy. Okay.
Hey, I was like, I'm gonna trim, and then I forgot. So sometimes manscaping is not the main priority. Okay, it just happens. And you know what I'm talking about. Do you forgot you're just for men, though? So, I mean, are we really... I'm just kidding.
Ouch.
I love you.
I fixed up my hair before I went. I don't know. Your dad has some work to do. But, yeah, it was awesome down there. And other than you guys and your Speedos, it was all cool.
No, that was... A lot of people have asked me, how was the Rip To Cabo? Like, give me a synopsis. And I was like, I don't really know if there is a quick, easy synopsis, but I think y'all's tagline really does, kind of fulfill that synopsis quite well. The journey of a lifetime, every time. How did you guys even come up with that tagline? Because it really is so perfect for this adventure.
Honestly, I just started saying it over the years, and it turned up in a couple interviews and just felt like the right thing. So this year we used it as the tagline on the shirt and just went with it. I think it really embodies the trip, because what you're sharing is the stoke and the camaraderie and the friendship, and it's more than just a motorcycle ride. So it's more of a journey in life, and instead of just popping wheelies. You can ride wheelies anywhere, but in Baja you do it with all your mates down the beach. You work together to get through all the obstacles, and some people say that we ride as a big cluster, and they'd rather just, they have their rides where they do it in individuals or whatever. But I think the group setting is what it's all about. So I think that's what helps make it that lifetime journey. It's not just the one rider. It's a group of riders. It's a group of chase guys. It's a group of media guys. And we all come together and form one bond. So I don't know. I just thought it was more than just a ride. So I thought the journey seemed like a good way to tag it.
Yeah, no, I would absolutely agree. And what's cool is we've got two different viewpoints. You know, my dad was actually on the trip as well. For those of you who don't know, hopefully you follow some Instagram and you know kind of what's going on there. And he was able to hang out with all the Chase dudes to not just support myself, but to support other riders that were out there. And then I was one of the riders, luckily enough to be one of the 6 fresh fish, or rookies, if you will. And it was interesting because I was like, okay, I've done a lot of riding. Yep. I know that in my life I haven't done a lot of long distance, long days of riding. I've done the Colorado 500 and a couple other events, 3-4 days here. Colorado 500 a little bit longer, but still, like, it's been a while. I'm like, okay, I can kind of handle this, but there really is no preparation, like, other than just being able to go to Baja regularly and riding out there, because Baja is such a nasty bitch. It seems like not only is it the most beautiful scenic area out there, but at the same time, the cactus can jump up and bite you. The rock can take your front wheel out. All that kinds of crazy stuff. And you guys have been doing this ride for 10 years. So I can only imagine that you've got some. So, like, I want to know, like, what are some of the wildest stories that have happened on that trip?
Well, pretty much anything you can think of has happened, unfortunately, but it's I don't know if I could pinpoint any really wild stuff. The things that really stand out in my mind are the nights, when you're talking about the good stuff, are the nights where you're coming in at 1 a.m. after having drama and problems, flat tires, broken wheels, chains come off, and you're just battling and battling and battling. And, this year we were fortunate. I mean, no injuries, no drama. We had a broken bead on a tire and a guy fall over and hurt his thumb, but we were able to come in almost before dark every night, even though I like riding in the dark. But for me, some of the best memories are those where I shared that late night, riding side by side with guys that had no lights on their bike or weren't expecting to be out there at night. And one of my personal favorites is something my dad talks about all the time, is we got to about 40 miles outside of La Paz on just a brutal day. It was about 10 o'clock at night. It had been dark for a couple hours. And everybody assumed we were going to jump on the pavement and go in. And I said, fill them up, boys. We're going for a ride. And you rode the steps, also known as the stairs or the waterfall outside of La Paz. Well,
yep.
We did that at about 11 o'clock at night one night. We came in at about 12:15. And when I got to the highway, I sent all the riders forward with someone else to the hotel because I heard on the radio that the chase truck had put gas in the diesel truck. So we had to stop and drain the fuel at 1 a.m. and put it in buckets and find a local to give it to, and then get the truck going. So I didn't get back into the hotel till 3 a.m. But that's just part of the adventure with Baja, and one of those epic stories that just is an epic story now that it's behind us.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not the good times you remember. Sometimes it's struggling through with your buddies the tough times. That if you weren't together as a group, if you were, fighting each other or not cooperating, it would have been hell. But the fact that you did that together, you experienced it together, sometimes that's better than the good times. That soldier stories they always tell. It's not always a good day in the trenches, but there's a brotherhood and a camaraderie there that's built during the hard times. And I saw a lot of that while I was there. You have no idea how many 3/4 dead riders I saw coming in at night, covered in dirt, ear-to-ear grins. You just couldn't wipe the smiles off those dirty faces if you tried.
And the brotherhood and the camaraderie that you guys are talking about, I witnessed that for myself, obviously with my own stupidity in the sense of running into a cactus and getting... And best part, Cameron, I have the GoPro footage of me running into that cactus, all the cursing and the screaming that goes along with the with having the cactus covering your complete arm. But it was Bill Grant and Frank Bear who just rode up, saw that I was in a lot of pain and that I needed help, and they just started helping. And it was just interesting. I don't know, like, I always feel like I would be the guy to help out too, but it was just cool that those dudes, watching that GoPro footage again is what really reminded me just how effortless it was for those guys to just take their tool packs out, grab their pliers, and literally just pick hundreds of needles out of my arm for 30 minutes. It's pretty insane how awesome those dudes are.
I wonder how many times they've done that before.
Yeah, probably a couple.
The rule of thumb is you're supposed to take a picture of the guy in agony first with the cactus sticking out of him. So
I hope they did that, honestly. If they did, I'm in.
Yeah, well, the cool part is you got the GoPro, so it'll end up on the CBS show. So make sure you send us that footage if you didn't download it already. But, I think it's just the common bond of all the guys. And sometimes it takes, a day or two to get switched onto it. But it doesn't take long before you realize that, you're all in it together. You're working together. I mean, the first day we had a total donkey move. We let this, guy come with a 450R, and we ended up having to tow him backwards out of one of the single tracks that we were on. And we ended up towing him further than he rode, and he drove all the way out from Atlanta with a 450R after we told him it wasn't the right bike. He swore up and down that he was an off-road rider, pictures, video, the whole thing. We let him go, and then his bike makes it 46 miles. But that's just part of the camaraderie and the brotherhood. The boys jumped on it, towed him back, and we got the group all back together. And, at the end of the day, another rider who brought a spare bike let that rider from Atlanta ride his spare bike for over 1,200 miles. And I mean, what kind of brother does that? I mean, we all know if you ride your dirt bike for 40 hours, you're probably going to have to do some work on it. And I would say Brian Beatty was just in being right there for that Best Brother award. I think he was the runner-up for that. But just what a valiant gift to give to another rider to let him be able to ride. I mean, arguably this guy, Eric, would have been out after 46 miles. He would have been in the chase truck the whole way if someone didn't have a spare bike for him.
Yeah. That's pretty epic. And I had a dumb move on the second day, which felt all too reminiscent of when I was in Baja the last time at the Baja Rally. So bike's overheating. We were in the wash, headed to the rock trail. The bike's overheating, and I remembered Mark Bradford saying, if it looks like you're losing oil, lay the bike over, because you want to make sure you keep as much oil as possible just in case. So that way, because moisture is very important. Obviously, oil is even more important. So the bike's overheating, boiling like crazy, and I couldn't see right away what was going on. So I was like, crap, I totally busted a case. I had no idea what's going on. So I lay the bike over. And when I lay the bike over, I closed the petcocks. So I turned the gas off just in case. And we get the bike up. I pee on it a couple times just to help get some moisture. We pour a little bit of water in the radiator, and we realize, okay, it's not cracked. It was just radiator fluid. We're going to keep going. So we go, and about 30 seconds later, what happens? Because you turn off the petcocks, the bike dies. And the way it died, I was just like, oh my God, this thing seized again. Fucking KTM in Mexico. This is ridiculous. Bradford starts kicking on it, and he's even like, yeah, dude, it's like, holy crap, there's a lot of compression. This thing feels weird. But we know that was because of the Revlock. But yeah, I turned the petcocks off, and then I saw his foot, and I was like, oh, shit. And so, luckily enough, Miss Piggy kept going. But, man, that was a moment of panic for myself. And you looked at me, and you were like, really? The petcocks were off? And I was like, yes.
And y'all didn't even give him a pink ribbon for that one.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
It was close.
It was a big day, and I think that the relief for me just to get everybody through the rock trail made it made it so I forgot that. The best part about that story is I was right there because I was riding sweep. His bike turns off. I come up, I ride by him, and he's like spitting his teeth out, pissed. He grabs his goggles off his helmet, throws them on the ground, just all pissed off, and I'm like, whoa, take it easy. The bike sees. Bradford's like, he's like, calm down. And it was funny because Bradford gets on, starts kicking, and Brian looks at the petcocks. He's just like, I am a donkey.
Yep. And the only reason why I immediately went to It Sees is just because of last year, and it just felt so reminiscent of that. I just totally went into that stupid state of mind of acting like a donkey. Yeah.
Trust Miss Piggy.
Oh, no.
Trust Miss Piggy.
Miss Piggy's 10 years old. Miss Piggy needs to go to the Miss Piggy graveyard.
Well, that's probably true.
I was impressed. I mean, I think that overall that you did a great job. I mean, this was our biggest field of pescado fresca, or fresh fish. And, I thought you were a great addition to the team, Brian. I mean, I definitely would invite you back for sure and hope that you come back. It was it's always a little risky for us, having people come on the trip that we don't know, and we try to suss it out. We talk to people, we try to get vouching. And when you told me that you rode the Baja Rally, I was like, okay, well, I've ridden the Baja Rally, and that's a pretty serious kettle of fish right there. And I said, all right, and let's do this. And when you said you had a 6-gallon tank on your bike, I was like, okay, well, at least he's not one of these donkeys showing up with a 3-gallon tank on. So you guys handled it well. Steve, great part of the chase crew. It was fun to have you there, fun to share with you, and hopefully you got to enjoy it and see it from the gut.
Absolutely.
The other side.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even the trip back with the chase crew, when we went to some of the inlets and bays that we didn't get a chance to do with the ride, the place just never-ending beauty, and I wish everybody could experience some of the things we saw, some of the inlets, the bays. I think it's Malaji. Mulaje. Okay. Well, my Spanish is like 50 years old.
You sounded more like you were doing some kind of Hawaiian thing.
When I took Spanish, Lyndon Johnson was president, and European 4-strokes were hard to beat. Wait a minute, they are again. But at any rate, we got to see parts of the Baja that we didn't see in the rally, we didn't see in the ride down. And they're just beautiful. There's just no way around it. It's gorgeous country and great people.
Yeah.
One of the things we really focus on, Steve, is that we look at the Baja Peninsula, and we've done it. Different rides. It used to be Rip to the Tip. Now it's Rip to Cabo. But over the 10 years, we've looked at the peninsula and tried to look at it different ways every time. We've tried to stay everywhere we can that can accommodate the size of our group. And some places can accommodate it. Next year we will spend more time on the East Coast, on the Sea of Cortez. A couple years ago, we did what's called the No Wimps Trail, which is a really rugged, remote area that's not even passable right now because of the hurricane damage. It comes out just above Santa Rosalia and Mulaje, and we actually went down into Mulaje on our dirt bikes. We did it in the trail of missions as well. We host a truck trip in June, which goes down the entire peninsula. So we're constantly scouting and looking, and what you're saying is stuff you didn't see this time. The idea is if you go a few times, you'll end up seeing tons of different stuff. Yeah, some stuff will be repetitive. As we said, we've stayed in San Ignacio every single year. It might not happen again next year, actually, from the plans we're already laying out. But, there's so many things to see, and that's why we spend the time to do the Crazy Ivans. We'll be going somewhere and we'll say, I wonder what's out there. And we'll go. We'll just turn right and go. And then we'll go left and we'll see. And the idea is to try to ride every inch of the peninsula where it makes sense and where we're being respectful to the peninsula and the people as well. But it's great to just be able to share all these different beautiful vistas every year.
And Cameron, what you said, one thing is really important, is respectful of the people and the land. It's easy to say, okay, well, it's a bunch of rich Americans that come down here with their trucks and their bikes and rape the land and, throw a pittance to the people. But that's not it. The respect we saw at the rally, the respect we saw in your organization, the work you guys did after the hurricane, taking down truckloads of supplies after the hurricane. I mean, that is not taking advantage of an area to ride. That's loving the land, loving the people, and taking care of it for not only for yourselves, but for the next generation, like this clod here, this donkey. But I appreciate what you guys do. You're an excellent role model in that. And all the people who say all we do is go down there and rape the peninsula, they don't get it. They're not in touch with what's really happening.
Well, I think it's really an honor for me to hear you say that. When people come down and they get a vision of what we do and how we treat it. I mean, we have so much respect for the people, and you have to respect the land, the people, and even beyond that, the animals. I'm not a guy that's eco warrior or whatever, but I'm definitely someone who's conscious of what's going on around me, and I know that we can't just come in and just run amok. And we think about it, and we have all the permits, we talk to all the people, we stop and talk to the ranchers, but in a lot of cases, the places that we go, we're, seeing people that don't see a ton of people. We bring stickers and posters, but we also bring other stuff. A good example is our friend Poncho, who we went and saw at San Rafael Fish Camp. And you mentioned the Baja Strong effort, which was, of course, more than just myself or the Desert Assassins. A number of us sending semi-loads and full of stuff down the peninsula, truckloads, and Poncho's a guy who was greatly impacted by the Hurricane Oldie. We were the first people to get to him after the hurricane to bring him supplies. And on this trip, we would normally bring them in our backpacks, some kind of fruits and vegetables or whatever. This time we had trucks with us, so we had, boxes full of stuff that we brought to him. And it's just the relationships you build, and the people are so stoked to see you. And most times, I would say 95% or greater of the times you go somewhere, they want you to ride faster than you're riding. They want you to ride wheelies because, hey, not every place we go has television, and they don't have the Indy 500 on TV. It's basically, we are the Indy 500 coming through their front yard, and they love it. The kids come running out of school. The teachers are stoked. We give them stickers. We high five them. We treat them with respect, and it's just the people there are so genuine and so personable. It's so great. I always say that we're kind of ruined by technology. I could sit in a room with you guys and have dinner, and we'd all be texting or talking on the phone or whatever. Down there when our cell phones don't work is the greatest time in the world because we're just experiencing each other pure and raw with no interruption, and that's how we get to interface with people of Baja as well.
Yeah. If you guys got a chance to see any of the recaps that they put out there, you obviously got to see part of that. So Cameron had his helmet cam on, and he went up to one of the schools. The kids ran out of the school. He took the time to sit down, give them out all the stickers, high five everybody. Obviously, if you haven't seen that, you can go to the Rip To Cabo YouTube page. They got all 7 of the daily recaps there to kind of get a synopsis. Later on in the year, hopefully Cameron maybe has a date for us. There will be the TV show on CBS, which will be the 2015 Rip To Cabo. Do you have a date for when that's going to air yet, Cameron?
We don't have the date yet. It's
okay.
Something that we're working on. It'll be sometime in the next couple of months, but we'll also have a series. So the way we do it is it's a 3-stage media process, so to speak. We do live updates while we're on the trip, which are down and dirty videos that kind of encapsulate, they're for the family, friends, people that want to view, whether it's, 2,000 or 5,000 viewers or whatever, while we're actually doing the trip. So it's a quick and dirty edit. Then we come home, we start to look at the footage with the temp media guys, and what we'll do is we'll build webisodes that maybe aren't, the idea this year is not to be chronicled daily footage under different headers, but we'll have a 5-part web series, and that will lead into a television show. So, for us, it's really cool because we share it 3 different times, and then we'll all spend time talking story, whether it's on Race Desert, that where all the riders will log in and share the stories of the trip. So it's pretty incredible just to be able to share it in all those different forms. But to answer your question, we don't have an air day yet. CBS is a great partner, and they aired our show, I think, last year 9 times. I expect a lot of, and when I get the date, I'll get it to you. But I'm expecting it's about 10 weeks out.
Okay, yeah, no worries. That'll be great to know, and I know we'll be stoked to
absolutely.
Sit down together and watch it and relive that.
Because that was my first experience with the Rip to Tip was seeing it. Rip to the Tip was seeing it on TV.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, Brian's telling me that there's an opportunity to go, and it's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Well, before we let you go really quick, so obviously we're talking about Rip to Cabo. There are other adventures that you guys do. Now, I don't know what it's going to be like in the future, how many fresh fish that haven't been on any of your other trips you're going to allow on. Obviously, I feel very, very honored to have been allowed on the trip. But so if other people want to kind of go 7 days, 1,500 miles, holy shit, that's a lot. Tell us about some of your other adventures that you guys have that people could maybe try to get involved with so that they can kind of start to get a taste of what you guys put together.
Well, one of the things we really like to do is we like to have people ride other rides first before they come on Rip to Cabo. A couple of guys had been on both Beach Bash and Hell Ride as the fresh fish, so they were kind of known quantities to us. Dan Gregory, who owns Dan's Motorsport Outlet in Oregon, had been on Beach Bash 3 times. And really, that's the best get-to-know Baja trip you can do. It's in northern Baja. It's hosted by myself and Johnny Campbell. It's a Desert Assassin, JCR shop. Co-effort along with Scotty Bloom is part of it with Baja Rally, and a huge part of it is Chili White from Enduro 360. So we all get together, open up the beaches and the mountains of northern Baja. We've hosted as many as 85 guys on that trip, but we're trying to keep it under 60, around 50. But part of the mission is to raise money for the Rancho Santa Marta Orphanage, which last year we were able to raise $40,000. I haven't told anybody yet, but we already have $40,000 in the bill for this year. So we're looking to get over $60,000. But we do Baja Beach Bash. We also do Surf and Turf, which is September. And we also have a ride called Hell Ride, which is a tough single track ride. Try to keep that under 8 riders. Had 2 guys. It was a little bit tougher, but we arguably rode the toughest trail in Baja when we rode the rock trail. So a lot of tough stuff on both rides. We also do truck trips. The Rip To Cabo has almost a twin in trucks, which is called the Trail of Mission. And we visit Mission, historic sites down the Baja Peninsula over 7 days, ending somewhere down south of Loreto. And that's something that happens. We also have a trip called the Truck in Time that is a truck trip as well. So we're vested in a number of adventure rides, adventure truck trips. We do some private trips with FMF and a couple races as well, but those aren't really open to the public. We do the FMF Baja Peninsula partnership with myself, Little Don, and Travis Clark. So there's kind of a lot going on, but if I was going to suggest one ride to newbies, I would suggest log on to BajaBeachBash.com. It's July 23rd through 26th. You can fly in and rent a bike from Chili White at Enduro 360, and you can come on the ride and just experience an epic trip. It's around $800. We do great fundraising. Everybody's encouraged to be a part of it, and I think that's the best ride to get started with. But there's a number of different rides with a number of different flavors for every kind of vibe and feel that people want to be a part of.
Right on. And what's the best way for them to find out about these? Is it your Desert Assassins website or Facebook, or what do you think is the best way for them to learn about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, our Desert Assassins page sucks. I wouldn't go there. I'd go to we're in the midst of working on a rebuild, trying to figure out exactly how we're going to do it. I would go to our Facebook page. Usually has all the information. You can message us there. You can go to Rip To Cabo has a you can go to our DA website if you really want to, and webmail us there. So people can find a way to figure out what it is. But usually the Facebook has the dates of all the rides on the Desert Assassins Facebook page. There's a dates part there that has what the rides and truck trips are that are coming up.
Right on. Well, that's awesome, dude. Everybody's asking, you gonna do it again? I'm like, man, if it was as easy to say yes as I want it to be, I totally would. It's obviously a big time commitment, a big financial commitment to kind of make it happen. But if it all works out, I'd love to do it. I think I'm gonna be kind of like Rusty Espinoza and maybe have that every other year. Obviously, if I get invited back, that's a big part of it, of course. But it's kind of like if every other year kind of thing, because it's obviously a lot of time and a lot of finances. But man, it was an amazing experience. Definitely, really appreciate you allowing myself and my father to experience it together, and then obviously experience everything you guys do, because it was an amazing time.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I really appreciate you guys coming. I think you're a great addition to the trip. Your riding was top notch. I mean, you seem like a Baja pro right out of the gate. No stress, no struggles. You were never on the radar, which is a good thing. You don't want to be on the radar. The thing is, you still don't know. You don't know how hard the hook has been set, because it usually takes about a month before you start thinking about all the things that happened and how much fun you had and how much fun it was to share with your dad or your lady down there or whatever, and a lot of times right out of it, like I'm feeling the same right now. I'm like, well, why the hell do I want to host 40 people down the Baja Peninsula again? Why do I want to put that, right? But a month from now, we'll be planning the trip and thinking about it again and talking to the boys, and the vibe starts to bubble up. And so you let me know in a month or so how you're feeling. If you want a spot on the trip, you got it. You're invited back. You were a great part of the trip. And, your show here and the efforts that you're making outside of just being a rider are also very welcome. And it's a cool part to have someone that understands the media aspect of it as well.
Oh, man, I really appreciate it. As well, kind words from you mean a lot, so definitely really appreciate it. And obviously, I know at some point Brian Elliott's going to listen, and I hope that you hear everything he just said. I'm not just a POS. I love Brian Elliott. He's a good guy. Well, dude, I know you've got your family there. You guys are probably trying to get ready to dinner. I really appreciate you coming on the show, taking the time to chat with us. We obviously will be in touch soon. And yep, there it is. Dinner's happening.
Yep. Can I do a shout out to Derek, Frenchie, and your dad?
Oh, there you go.
I really enjoyed being with them.
Say it again.
Can I shout out to Derek, Frenchie, and your dad that I really enjoyed being with those guys? You got two super troopers there with Derek and Frenchie.
Derek and French are definitely all-stars. They've done a great job. They're great dirt bike riders, too, so they totally respect it. Both of them want to ride the ride, but I'm like, I need you to work the ride. So we're going to give time when we go to Beach Bash and hopefully Surf and Turf, they'll both be riding. So, spread the word about those trips. And, I think if people can come out to Beach Bash or people can give at beachbash.com to the orphanage would be great. And I hope to see you come back out, bud. It'd be great to have you come out. Maybe you can ride one of my bikes if you want to come out for Beach Bash.
Woohoo! That would be pretty wicked, man. Well, yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time, and I know that we're going to be chatting again soon. And if nothing else, always enjoy a pint full of awesome.
Right on, party naked.
As I'm doing, well, below the waist anyway.
No, he's not.
No, my dad would freak out. Nobody likes that. Enjoy your Pacifico, dude. We'll chat soon. Later, man.
Why didn't I bring the Tecate? I have an unopened 12-pack of Tecate.
Is it from the Baja
It's
Peninsula?
from, where did I buy it? Cabo.
Ooh, I know why you didn't bring it, because it's probably skunk at this point.
It came all the way, bounced in the trucks all the way up from Cabo. And here we are, a pint full of awesome, and I left a 12-pack sitting at home.
Yeah, obviously we've been trying to enjoy a few more pints full of awesome while we've been on the couch, but unfortunately, I'm not going to lie, being gone for 2 weeks, I came back into a shitstorm at work. And I've been stupid busy, and I had to rush home from work and make sure that I could make it here, do show notes, put the kids down, bathe them, all that stuff. Obviously, my wife is a huge help, so that helps that she is such an accommodating woman for all the things that we have going on in our life. But yeah, so we're drinking water tonight, so that's just sometimes that's just the way it rules. But if anybody, yeah, seriously,
We're drinking
we've got the posters, Rip To Cabo. These things are awesome. They're all over the place. You guys need to check out this event. Again, the Seat Time website, I've been posting the daily recaps there as well. Kind of spread them out a little bit so they're not just slamming the website, 7 at a time, kind of a little bit slower than that. So check them out, man. They're there. They're a great time for everybody. So before we go directly into the Fly Racing Pint Full of Awesome Award, I did want to say thank you very much to some of our other sponsors. So Kenda Tire USA, for those of you who don't know, you can go learn more about those guys at Kenda Tire USA or KendaTire.com. And they're making a lot of strides, not just in the off-road market, but in Baja. A lot of people were kind of like, oh, Kenda, they're a little bit of a discount tire. And I was like, the discussions I've had with everybody at Kenda, they're not just a discount tire anymore. They're putting in a lot of effort in R&D to really become the off-road tire. And I think that it shows not just in like the gummy kind of prototype tires that you can get for your more hard enduro or your enduro cross type stuff, but what they've done is they've taken the trials tire that a lot of people came, really popular, and then kind of created a hybrid around it. So if you notice with those trials tires, there's no side knobbies. And so they work really, really good. But if you're a rider who leans over and kind of like rails the ruts, if you will, you're not going to get a lot of traction, and your tire is going to slide out from the rut. What they've started doing is they've taken they've kind of opened up just a little bit the trials pattern in the center, but then put some side knobs on it. So that way, while you're in kind of those stickier situations and your pitter pattern a little bit slower, you can run a little bit lower air pressure and you can get a little bit more traction. But then at the same time, when you lean it over and you're in the turns, you could still get that traction like you would on your more typical kind of knobby tire. It's called the Equilibrium. There's a little ad on our site. You can click that. It'll head you over to KendaTire.com to learn more about that. Or you can head over to their Facebook page, ask them about it. I think that's the best way to really kind of try to learn more about that product is not just to take it for granted what people tell you, but go to their website, ask them questions, go to your shop, ask about Kenda Tire, and that's the way to educate yourself, is to talk to people that know the product.
And I'm sold on those Parkers. As I compared your bike to the other bikes that did not change tires,
yeah,
those Parkers held up well, and it's a street legal tire.
Yeah.
You still had plenty of front knobby left. You had plenty of rear knobby left, even after you burn out. Those things were impressive. I'm sold. That's
by burnout, I listened. I did not do a tire burnout. The burnout he's referring to is my bike literally burning out into Cabo. It tried to die, and that is unfortunately, there's just no time for the show for us to even go into that. So it will be in my write-up that I will put on my website, and of course we're going to be doing our own little recap video. That's going to be a good time. So let's talk about the Pint Full of Awesome Award. While I was gone, Steven and Jordan and Dale Spangler at Fly Racing were so grateful to put this together for us. So we're giving away some of the new Kinetic mesh gear for this spring. In Texas, very, very needed. And so I know that there's other parts of the world and the country where it's humid, it's hot, and you want to breathe better. And I promise you, this gear does that. I love wearing it because what's happened, you could stand up and you just immediately feel all the nether regions extremely cool off because they flow so well. So we're going to go through our honorable mentions first. So, Steven, are you ready for our honorable mention? Okay, so at Rick Hines 814 had this awesome picture. This looks like, I can't really tell, but I want to say that he lost a chunk of his flesh. And I've had a wound like this before, not from riding, but because I'm an idiot and I stabbed myself in the knee while trying to cut something. Hey, I'm not, donkey award. Just keep on bringing it.
Or tried to start the 400
but that was the back of my knee. Back of my knee. Okay. So, honorable mention. Now, unfortunately, there's no prizes except for the fact that you're awesome and we get to talk about you. So, third place, which is going to be Fly Racing Hat, woohoo, is at og.al. Now, this picture may seem a little bland, but this dude, if you go through a lot of the stuff that he's hashtagged a pint full of awesome, I really enjoyed it. A lot of them were videos, so because of the fact that it's just a little bit tougher for us to save a video, put it into the show, blah, 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 it's a lot easier for us to show this picture. But this dude tagged a lot of stuff, pint full of awesome, is out on his BMX bike, riding his dirt bike, seems like a young kid, really into riding. I think he's on an 85 right there. So he's obviously wearing Fly, and I'm like, you know what? This dude, he needs a Fly hat to make sure to go with his awesomeness out there. So thank you very much for your submission at Ogulal. I don't really know these people's real names. I'm just going off of what we got in their Instagram name. Okay, so second place for the Pintful of Awesome Award is Chuck82. Yo! Now, granted, this person in the picture may not be Chuck, but this gentleman is definitely winning himself a shirt because he has no shirt on. And I just thought this was the perfect picture to be tagged Pintful of Awesome to be able to win a Fly Racing Polo. I was like, this guy's classy. He just doesn't know how to show it yet. So now he's going to be able to walk around with only a Fly Racing shirt on, maybe some underwear, and he will definitely pick up the ladies, I think. Maybe?
Kind of like you at the beach in Cabo after you took your gear off?
Yes, me and my French attire. Hey, man, you just got to rock what you know. You just got to rock what you know. And I don't know much, so I don't wear much.
His wife was there, so he couldn't get in trouble.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, I could get in trouble. She could just get in trouble with me. But first place for the Pintful of Awesome Award is someone that I'm proud that they've stuck with it. I have seen them post a couple times when we have had the Fly Racing Pintful of Awesome Award a few times, and I'm glad that they keep posting. And their son is ridiculously adorable. Tons of cool stuff, wearing his Fly Racing gear, riding his dirt bike, and at the same time, working on his track. So Veggie Hotson from Instagram, congratulations, you will be winning a set of the 2015 Fly Racing Kinetic Mesh gear. We can obviously talk it out later if it's going to be, gear for your son, if it's going to be gear for you that you're going to then hold your son and be like, sorry, I'm the one who gets to feel better than you do because mine's the vintage gear, suck it. We can work that out after the fact, but congratulations. I just wanted to say thank you for, taking part in everything that is Seat Time and taking part of this competition and having such an awesome relationship with your child, and not just because you have a relationship with your child in the dirt biking arena. We love that. But you can tell in your pictures that you have a great relationship with your kid, and that in itself is just awesome. So congratulations. Thank you, everybody who used the hashtag Pintful of Awesome. Of course, we may not be doing it right away, but I can promise you that that Fly Racing is going to allow us to do something of this nature again. So it'll be coming. So we're going to have Robby Marshall coming on. You got to run what you brung. Thank you, Dale Spangler. Thank you. Yes, you're right, sir. So we're going to have Robby Marshall come on, and we're going to talk about a little bit of JDay. I've noticed, we were out of town for a while. We had all the GNCC stuff going on. We had a lot of the National Enduros that just happened. So there's been some news, But one of the other things that has happened is JDay has started, and JDay is just awesome. It's so much fun to watch these recap videos, these 2 30-minute motos. I don't know. I mean, I want to think I'd love it, but 3 hours is blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't want to race 3 hours anymore. I was like, maybe that's more fun. So that's why I love having the JDay guys on, because they're so pumped on the series, and they have a great time, and their enthusiasm makes our enthusiasm that much better. So, without further ado, Mr. Robby Marshall, how is your evening going, kind sir?
It's good. Just getting home from work. Had a late one, trying to get the track ready for the weekend. So it's nice to be in the house relaxing a little bit.
Did you just smoke half a pack of cigarettes?
Yeah, I feel like it, right? I've been yelling. Working with one of my guys, I got to yell at him all day over the machines. Like, hey, put the dirt right there.
Where? Yes. No. Shit. Wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, dude, you're building boobs. We need mounds.
Yeah, right.
Come on, man. Take the nipples off of those things. That's ridiculous. So you're actually your Ram Tracks design, I believe, is that correct? Ram Tracks?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the track building side. And then there's Ram Tracks Racing now. That's the racing side. So
you're expanding.
yes, I'm expanding. I'm moving on.
I didn't get any kind of offers this year. I'm really kind of,
Well, startup team. I'll wait till I'm the big time and I got the big bucks to go. Offering and going for guys like you.
Oh, that's because I'm worth quite a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, well, that's cool, man. Obviously, we had you on a couple of shows ago. We got a chance to talk about your Ram Track design and all the building that you've been doing and how you've kind of taken that on as a full-time job. Obviously, if you're getting to a point where you can support riders, you're doing pretty good, and that's a great way to get your name out there. And you're also going to be, you have been building the course for this weekend's Crow Hill GP for JDay. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's we had 2 weeks ago there was a foot of snow still on the ground, so it's pretty much the same course it was last year. We're just trying to get it, put some drainage in and do some stuff to get it dried out a little bit so it's not such a mess, but it's good. I mean, we try to haul in some fresh dirt and change it up. We added a little bit of clay and then we added some sand. So we just kind of try to mix it up and get it dry and rideable, obviously, is the number one. And, it's kind of hard to do that with the ground as wet as it is from the snow and stuff. So, bringing the sand in and stuff really helps just mix it up and make a good course.
Right on.
Some battles.
Is it just me, or does it sound like he already does more work than Feld Motorsports?
Yeah.
It would seem so.
It's like I like how you're going to a natural place and bringing in more types of dirt, where they come into a stadium and should be bringing in new shit every time.
It's the same old stuff they pile in the parking lot every year. Yeah.
Oh, man. So, obviously, you're doing something right. And from Texas, we appreciate that. So, that's awesome.
Yeah, you got to get you guys up here to race one of these. I think the way the series is going and the courses are being built now, even the other ones, the real woodsy ones, it's just you can't have any more fun on a dirt bike, and it's just such a good time. And it's whether you're winning or in dead last, it does not matter. You're having just as much fun out there, and it's not too much, like you were saying, 3 hours. I mean, I work full time. Like, I can handle 2 30-minute motos. I can ride through that. Like 3 hours or 2 hours, it's just too much for me to handle. My hands can't take it.
I do.
It's a tough one.
I do. I have the babiest of hands. Anybody could go back. I think it's probably every other show, and there's probably some comment about me and my baby hands. It's quite unfortunate.
It's in the
Well,
genetics.
don't feel bad, because I have the roughest hands you could ever see. They're just cut and blisters and scarred and rough rubbing and steel all day, and I still get just busted open if I go for 3 hours.
Man, I didn't realize the porn industry had gotten so interesting.
Yeah, it's gnarly now.
Oh, so they got rid of all the lube, and now you've got dry, cracked hands. That's disgusting.
No good.
Nobody enjoys that.
Extra oils for some extra lubricants. They've been taking care of me for years.
I love it. They get you all lubed up and ready to go, huh?
I love your accent too. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, we could just listen to you talk. What I think we should do sometime is have the JDay Rippers read bedtime stories. So that way we could and I'll be like, yes, here you go, Liam. Let me put on your bedtime story, and that would just hit play on the JDay Rippers with the accent and the way that they talk about the sleep.
You hit the ball wicked hard.
Wicked hard. Hard.
And you pack your car in the garage.
Yeah, that's right, in Harvard Yard.
I used to live there.
I think this show is gonna be me laughing the majority of it at this point. It's kind of fun. So you won last year, kicked butt in the JDay series, and then of course you come away with a 2-1 this past weekend, which in moto standards gives you the win because of the fact that you came over Johnny. And man, so Southwick, it's open again. You guys had your opener there. Just kind of break it down for us. Was it awesome? Was it not awesome? Was it moto-y? Was it woodsy? You know, did you kick butt? Did you feel like you just barely won? Like, yeah, give us the deets, bro.
Everyone was saying, you know, are your guys ready? Your guys ready? And I'm like, they're all been training all winter. Like, they're on point, you know, they're race ready. I was the problem. I've been working so much. I'm like, you know, I was counting on pulling one of those veteran cards out, and, you know, fortunately I got it done with one of those. But, you know, it was like blowing my hands off the handlebars. I was so pumped up and tired and stuff, and it was gnarly. But, you know, it's sand. And it's like, you know, I can be completely out of shape, but I just love sand. Like, you know, if it was a rocky, techy, you know, gnarly, woodsy race, it would be a lot harder for me. But, you know, I just know how to kind of get on the sand and float. And as far as Southwick, yeah, Keith Johnson's actually running it now, and Dowdy's been down there helping. And, like, it's unbelievable. They turned it around and, like, kind of built the old layout. And I did an NESC race there a couple weeks ago, and, like, it was just crazy. You know, I turned the first turn, and I went down the washboard, and instantly I was like, oh, man, like, this is what I grew up riding, you know, like in the 90s, you know, with 50s, 60s. I mean, my first race was there, and it was back to that way, you know, it just felt right. And, you know, it was still good the past 10 years, but it was the wrong way. It was always, you know, going against itself. And when they turned it back around, they added all the old things, the camel humps and all that in. And I was just like mind blown at how sick the track was again. And, you know, I really appreciated it, you know, being older and riding it before and now. So
right. Well,
it was good, but the JDay course was great. It was unbelievable. I mean, JDay does such a good job with, like, you know, there's maybe one little section of the track it narrows down to one line, but the rest of it, I mean, even the tight woodsy single track, there's at least 4 single tracks across. So, you know, there's, you know, 150 guys out there, and it's a smaller course than a GNCC. So, you know, the lappers are a huge deal, but, you know, he's got it so wide. He's got it 40 feet wide with 3 or 4 different single tracks. So, like, you know, if you bunch up, you can take a slow line, but you can at least get around people.
Right. Yeah. That's one thing that I think would be really interesting. I know that they've a couple times tried to do stuff like that at some of the local TCCRAs and stuff. And I just kind of wish they would do it a little bit more. I know it seems so counterintuitive, but in the way that you're talking about it, if you widen it to the point where it's like, okay, you can go from this point to this point, figure it out. You know, it's not going to be, you know, a bunch of quad trails. It's going to be a bunch of little single tracky. It's because of the fact that there's just natural flow within the trees and the obstacles and stuff like that.
Yeah, he does every week. He does like a little section of fresh cut where he'll do that, just 40 feet wide. He'll cut all like the underbrush and leave anything, you know, this big around or bigger. You know, they'll leave all that, and it literally gets, like you said, you know, 4 single tracks wide. Like that, by the end of the day, you can go from one single track to the other. So like, it's just wild how the courses end up with all the riders and stuff, and it's fun. Like I said, you know, it's not just hammer down and win. Like, you really got to be, you know, you got to strategize with the lappers. And like, I've been a minute ahead owning the race, and all of a sudden I got passed by 2 guys and I'm in 3rd or 4th, and I'm like, how the hell did that just happen? Right. You know, and I just made some bad choices in the lappers, and they made the good ones, and like, boom, they were on me like that. And then there's been times I've been in like 4th or 5th, you know, I make a couple moves and all of a sudden I'm leading. And it's cool though. It's, you know, it's what, every time I go out there, it tests every skill I have on a dirt bike. And that's what really attracts me to it. You know, riding motocross and stuff my whole life, I just feel like every time now I just kind of get in that flow and go, like, you know, try and flow as easy as possible. But like in the woods, I mean, you're just hanging it out, wheelie and stuff, you know, like just using all the techniques you have from riding for so long, and actually getting to use them, because you don't have to save energy for 3 hours or flow the turn perfectly to keep your lap time down, you know, like you're just hammering through the trees.
Yeah. Oh man, hammering down through the trees. I did not do any of that in Baja.
No.
There are no trees down there.
the piney forest up north or whatever they.
Well, but even that's like it's so cool. It's you're there's really for what we rode anyway. Yeah. We did not get on any single track down there.
Oh no.
And there may be. I have no idea. I just know that a majority of that piney wood kind of area is talked about as like a lot of the score course.
Right.
But that would be neat to find out if there is kind of because he's obviously Cameron knows there's single track everywhere. Or make one. Yeah, we could get all those dudes to help us figure that out. Well, so you got Crow Hill coming up with JDay. What other are there any nationals up there that you guys are going to be able to kind of show your roots at? Because we've seen you guys, some of the JDay Rippas come down to maybe like the GNCC, some of the national enduros, and do pretty well. Is there anything that you think is going to be on the schedule for you guys that y'all are going to be able to fit in?
Maybe Unadilla. They're doing the sprint enduros too, and everyone's asking me what I'm doing, and I got a normal life too, so I really like the series that he does it awesome. Like you have 2 rounds, and then you got 3 weeks off or a month off, and then you got 2-3 more rounds, and then you got another couple weeks off, and those breaks really they let you put the bikes back together, hang out with the family, the girlfriend, your friends. You kind of get to keep your normal life going. You're not just racing every single weekend. And, with me working full time, it's not like I get to enjoy stuff during the week. I'm working all week. So,
yeah.
Having a couple weekends off to go to the beach or, even go riding with my friends somewhere is important to me, and I've chased it so long my whole life, every single weekend it being part of the job that, now I really enjoy my weekends off, and it actually makes me enjoy the race weekends that much more when I do go back.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of close to that same mentality. Now,
we were just talking about that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I don't follow a series anymore. I mean, it's unfortunate. I would love to be able to follow the TSEC series, which is our local enduro series still. And it pains me sometimes to see all the updates of everybody getting to go to the races. But as you say, like you got a full week of work. There's life. There's all this stuff that goes on. And I've kind of found that these bigger adventures that I've been able to go on with my father and get involved in have really kind of been what is worked for me. Like I kind of don't follow a series. I go ride with my friends when I can, but then I try to find like these 1 or 2 bigger events to go really get a new, stoke on life in riding, because it has just been so freaking cool doing this kinds of stuff. But at the same time, I want to go do a JDay.
But like he's talking about, then you've got time to put the bike back together.
Yeah.
You got time to do the other things that are important in life. As you get older, you're not 25 years anymore. You've got to do these other things.
18.
Yeah, well,
but
a lot of advantages to that.
Yeah,
that's good. The only problem is then you've got conflicts with other series. If you've got a series that runs like that, you probably have date conflicts with other things. Is that a challenge for you to get to other events with your schedule?
Not really. If I want to do it, I'll do it. Like, Unadilla, that kind of deal. And, I love racing and riding. So, a part of me does want to race every single weekend. But, when I actually take a step back, I'm happier that I did that move, and I didn't keep pushing the racing just because, like I was saying, the bike and your body, like, I'm not training every single day, eating right. Like, if I'm going to eat a sub, I'm going to eat a sub for lunch because I'm at a work break,
Yeah.
So I need my body to heal a little bit, and I need it to, like, the weekend off actually does me better than, another weekend of racing. And it's like, if I ever was to, for some reason get a ride and go back to it full time, if I got paid the money I deserve and need to make it a career, that's the thing is I could still race right now. I'm the best I've ever been, but, unless you're getting a pretty solid salary, it doesn't even out, like you make $100,000, you spend 120. It's like, the numbers don't work. And I'm at the point in my life where, I'm a grown man. I got responsibilities. I got things I got to take care of, and chasing this dream that, riding around in 15th place, making $1,000 is not the dream. It's not going to get you it's not going to get me where I'm trying to be, and since I've come back up here, I've just been working like crazy, and this JDay thing, and that's like my escape, just having fun, racing my dirt bike with my friends, but then getting the time off too is what keeps it going. If it was a every single weekend thing, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I would be back to just riding once in a while here and there, but he makes it possible for the working man,
I like it. Well, what was going on this winter? I know typically I see all kinds of stuff, but the JDay Winter Series and the Sprint Series starting up a little bit earlier, but it seemed like it was kind of slow with JDay this winter. Did I just miss it, or did it just didn't happen that much this winter?
Well, he usually does that race down at Boswick, and that gets a lot of buzz. So he didn't do that this year, so I'm sure that was a part of it. But yeah, they I think they canceled one of the winter sprint enduros and stuff. I mean, we had you could see the grass in January, and then all of a sudden February we got in our area we set the record in the most snow in history we've ever had. 300 something years of us being here, 1700s, and we just had the most this year, and in 1 month, in this month of February alone was when, it was like 36 inches 2 days later, 18 inches 2 days later, 24 inches 2 days later, just insane for weeks like that. So it was a little bit of a rough winter up here for sure, but I'm hoping to talk him into doing like a Southern JDay series down, in the Carolinas, a couple rounds in the late fall, and then like a couple rounds before the GNCC start. And there's just so many sick places down there. I used to live down there that that would do it, that want to do it so bad. And, it'd be a little series. It wouldn't be something huge, but it would get the Southerners and the people below the Mason-Dixon line to be able to, check out what kind of series it is and how awesome it is, and potentially expand to like a whole East Coast thing. But
for sure.
He's got his plans. He's an incredibly smart, intelligent person with all this. His marketing, his everything. They all told that kid he was an idiot for doing what he's doing, and look at him now. He knows what he's doing. He's got a sick game plan, and it's cool. We learn from each other. We're kind of the same age, grinding through the same thing, and he's up there today. I know the things I do with like the track and stuff. He doesn't have that kind of experience, like the dirt end of it, moving dirt and shaping stuff. But, we definitely learn something from each other every time I go up there. And, I do a lot of endurocross and JDay style tracks for people. I mean, all over the country, they want a little bit of everything. So I literally build them a JDay course, and, I have helping him with the course, that I usually don't mess with the single track. I don't even see it until race day. Any of the trail stuff. I'm just so busy with the machines, doing the extreme section, or hauling dirt, or getting the moto section ready. Like that's what I spend my time in. I literally Sunday, the people are like, oh, how's the course? I'm like, I don't know. All I know is the ram tracks in the extreme section. I have no idea where the woods goes. I'm like, I don't even know where it goes in.
I'm gonna look for the arrows.
I'm like, is it going on top of the hill? They're like, no, out by the sand. And I'm like, oh shit, I better check that out.
You like jump over the wrong berm. You're like, man, this is weird. I'm the only one over
here.
here.
I do it all the time. Like he'll just take a right if you're on the moto track and you're just ripping the track. Like I got this, and then it just goes right, and you're like, whoa, you're blowing banners and stuff.
So you said the Mason-Dixon line. When was the last time you heard somebody actually mention the Mason-Dixon line?
About 20 years ago.
I know. That's awesome. I haven't heard that in so long. Well, I grew up in Louisiana, so obviously, there's a lot of Southern pride down there in the South for sure. So.
Hellfire.
Yeah, it gets a little bit interesting. Well, so you got Crow Hill next, and then you said is that after that when you guys have a little bit of a break and then you come back, or do you have a little bit of a break now?
No, we actually this weekend's actually we got an action-packed weekend. Thursday's the Good Times, Dirt Bikes and Good Times tour.
With Verb, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Thursday at the track, and then Friday night is actually the premiere in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Worcester.
Yeah. And then Saturday's open practice. Sunday's the JDay, and Verb's going to be there filming it all and making an episode out of it, doing some edits and stuff. So it'll be pretty cool. And then next weekend, actually next Saturday, is a sprint enduro at Crow Hill, which should be pretty cool. He's going to use 3 different, the special tests or whatever, and he's got some awesome stuff planned. So I think I might race that one just because, I've never done one of those, and I can sprint like a mad dog, so I think I'll be pretty good at it.
There you go. I like it. You know, one thing I don't know if we might have talked about this before. It's like, but because of the fact you're such a moto enthusiast, I mean, you grew up racing in Southwick and racing moto and stuff. Is it because of JDay that you kind of got into the off-road side of things, or did you just kind of ride off-road for fun when you weren't riding motocross?
Well, I grew up, riding with my dad. We'd go to a track, and then we'd go trail riding from there. Like, that's just what I did. And, obviously when I was training, I was doing motos and stuff, but like forever, my favorite thing to do was to go for a little trail ride, hit a pit, trail ride to another pit, hit some single track, cross a river, like that's always been my favorite thing to do, and then I did a couple woods races here and there, but I never really like got into it, other than just like raced one and then didn't race it for 3 more years or something. And the JDay was like kind of a mix, I still got to do the moto, and the JDay is the 30 minutes. You can sprint for 30 minutes, like at a GNCC, you can't sprint for 3 hours unless you're Caleb Russell because he's such a savage. But like
Yeah.
No one else can do that, like I can sprint for 30. I did it with him at Dilla. I went for 30 minutes, with him right there with him, and then he kept going for another 2.5 hours, and I was dead by the end of the race, and just fading back because I was so tired. And the JDays really allow you to just hang it out, and then you can catch your breath, regroup, and hang out another one. But
hanging out and then hang it up.
Yep, that's right.
I'm gonna patent that. That'll be JDay's slogan. Next year.
It is a good one, actually.
There it is. I'm telling you, man, it's all up here. You just need people like Robby Marshall to help fish it out.
Right.
Yeah. I need smarter people than myself to help dig around in my brain to figure out what's in the cobwebs.
No. Don't dig around in his brain.
Yeah.
You don't know what you'll find.
Yeah, you're going to come up with stuff.
Some good stuff up there, I bet.
And some cobwebs.
Yeah.
It's like the hamster running on the wheel, like,
He's like staring at the wheel because the wheel's broken, and he's like, well, that sucks. Well, cool, man. Well, good luck with the rest of the JDay series. I hope you can totally do a repeat and be up there. Be like, pint full of awesome bitches, seat time. Woo!
Yeah.
That format just sounds like so much fun. Motocross, woods riding, half an hour, pound it as hard as you can, a little bit of everything, every skill set you need. Man, I'm jealous. I want to do it.
Yeah.
But I need a time warp, so you guys have to enjoy it for me.
We did do an old fart class.
No, they did a...
Hey, he just made a vet pro class, and
no. We mean like
we need a triple old fart.
Yeah,
class.
like it's like take the kids course and then take the extreme section out of the kids course, and then that's the old fart class.
He can ride the super senior.
Do you have a super senior?
No.
JDay has for everyone, like KTM has a bike for everyone.
My riding days are over, but I'll enjoy it through you guys. And the format just sounds awesome. I wish we'd have had that. We used to have a couple down in Louisiana in Sarah where they would have a Sarah Hare scramble that was at a motocross track. And then half of it would be on the motocross track. The other half would go out in the woods.
Yeah, same thing.
But it wasn't like half an hour. It was a 2 hour. But still, I mean, those were a blast because you got to do your little bit of moto. Of course, we're talking when travel was 6 inches. Got to do your little bit of moto. You got to do your little bit of woods.
20 feet, not 300.
You got to do your water. You got to. I mean, that format just sounds like so much fun. A little bit of everything in one ride. I'm jealous.
There it is. If
Papa
Pierce is jealous, we all know.
In that black New England mud, just traction
dirt
everywhere when you're not hitting a rock, but traction everywhere.
I think it would be pretty wicked. Well, last question. What does a man like yourself do in a house when there's 300 inches of snow outside?
I mean, if there's that much snow, I'm usually plowing, and then after you plow, you get to push it back because the snowbanks are too big, and then you finally sit down and you're like, oh, this is great, I'm gonna relax, and then it snows 6 more inches, and you got to go back out and plow another 20 hours. So we don't sit much inside if you got any of the plowing game going on.
Do you charge people like by the inch?
Yeah, you can try. Well, some people do. It depends what you do. Or like, I do a lot of pushbacks with the machines. Like, I take a skid steer to someone's house because the snowbank's too big, and I'll like charge them like $100 an hour and push the snow back. Usually only takes like an hour to do one of the driveways. They're all pretty small, but if one takes a while, obviously it's a little more, but it's good. And then just plowing, during the storms, like some parking lots, whatever kind of needs to be done. Hopefully get on the town next year because you get paid a shitload.
I like it. Well,
So
you need to have
I take it you're not a fan of global warming then. You want it to stay cold and snow a lot up there.
Yeah, I don't really like the cold. I actually been living in Charlotte, North Carolina the past 4 years, and I was Florida, California, all over the place before that. So this was my first winter here in 10 years, and I opened my big mouth in January. I'm like, oh, it's my first winter back, and there's not even any snow, and then we got 106 inches in a month.
Be careful what you don't ask.
Way to go, Mr. Robby Marshall. Way to go.
My big mouth, dude. Good job.
Everybody in JDay right now knows that you're the reason, and they're coming on the way to your house with their pitchforks and fire.
Right. Yeah.
Way to go, dude. Well, cool, man.
So they're angry.
I know. All right, so give me at least 3 really good sayings with your awesome accent before we go.
What kind of sayings?
I don't know, something that sounds awesome with your accent. I would say it, but I don't know it until you say it, and then I giggle.
Well, there's the basic one that everyone knows, the park the car in Harvard Yard. Can you say that?
Park the car in Harvard Yard.
That's pretty solid. You just don't say your R's ever.
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 And it's Boston.
See?
The Boston.
Boston.
Yeah.
All right, come on, keep going. What else we got? Come on, Ripper.
What do you call that? What do you call that
How
team?
about Adam Sandler's Welcome to Worcester, $1.25.
Yep. I don't think I could get that one. That sounds professional.
What do you call that team that plays in that green baseball field?
Fenway?
Yeah, what do you call those
Fenway
guys?
Park? The Red Sox?
The Sox playing the pack.
The Red Sox.
Yeah.
I love that field. I love Fenway Park.
Yeah.
Pack, excuse me. Pack.
Yeah, Fenway Park.
Fenway Pack.
Green Monster.
The Green Monster. Okay, I thought I was like the green something. I'm not a baseball person, but hey, that's okay. I'm not much of anything, really. I'm just a guy
I've
with a
only
couch.
been there 3 times, but I love it.
Yeah. All right, one more.
I don't know. What do you got? What do I got? What do I say? I'm drawing a blank here. We got a lot of sayings.
Yeah, because it's just talking normal, and everybody else is like, and then guys like me just giggle.
We've been adding M to everything. Like, we're going ripping them, jonesing them, hanging them, ripping them,
Interesting.
JDaying them.
JDaying them. Whoa.
Seat timing them.
Seat timing them. Hey.
That's a good one.
Hey.
We can end on that.
Bringing it.
He paid his dues.
There it is. Seat timing them. I like it.
Seat timing them.
Enjoying a pint full of awesome.
That's it. Yeah, that's a good.
Don't get him started.
Yeah, now we're ruining it.
Okay.
All those cobwebs
Tell all
start
your
coming
friends.
out.
Yeah, all those cobwebs are starting to burn. It's starting to hurt. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show again, especially after such a long, hard day, getting everybody's track ready for the weekend. They appreciate it. So at least when you get there, you might know which way the arrows point. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Until you go in the woods.
I'll figure it out. I usually go for a walk during the C group. See a bunch of my buddies out there ripping, cheer them on, check out the course. Seen a guy tag a tree so hard I thought he was dead the other day.
That's not
He
good.
hit a root and just, pop, hit that thing. I was like, I ran over to him and he was a little dizzy, but he was all right. He got going.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's never good. At least you were there to help him out and be like, "Yeah, item."
Yeah.
It didn't really work, did it? Did you rip him?
All right. Well, thanks for having me, boys.
Thanks, man. We really appreciate it. Have fun out there.
And do well.
Will do. See ya.
Right on. Get some sleep.
Oh, we will.
Nice, dude. Take it easy. Well, so of course, one of the fine folks that do sponsor the show that we did not get a chance to talk about is Stillwell Performance. So StillwellPerformance.com is where you can go check it to learn more about them. They specialize in off-road suspension. Specifically, if you've got maybe 4CS, you could read up about what they've done with Dirt Rider. Dirt Rider raves on what they've done with their 4CS. And hopefully I will be raving soon. My suspension should show up this week, back from Stillwell Performance. Told you guys I got a 2015 350 XC F. Rode it, was awesome. Settings that stock, the settings that Stillwell gave to me. Actually rode pretty good. It definitely was harsh in the front, but nowhere near as bad as the 14s. The 2014s was way worse. So I'm looking forward to getting that back. It's going to be cool to be able to go ride that, test, play around. Maybe go do some more local races if and or when there's time. We'll see how that goes. But definitely, so StillwellPerformance.com. As I tell you guys, one of the things that I like about Alan Stillwell is that his ability to explain what's going on. And that's why I say don't just go there and expect to order suspension. Say, oh, yeah, I want to get my suspension done. Here's my rider list. I'm going to send it off. What I recommend you doing is I recommend you talking to Tara, the lady that's behind the office. Tell her you want to talk to Alan and you've got a lot of questions to ask him, and he's going to be able to help you out. That's what he does, and he's great at it. If for some strange reason you want to just watch YouTube videos while you're at work, we do have a couple interviews that we have done with Alan Stillwell. Those are very good as well. The really good one is the one where he explains 4CS and why those forks kind of come across so harsh in the very beginning of the stroke. I think those are...
That was an awesome episode.
Blew my mind. Yeah, absolutely blew my mind. And of course,
I even understood it.
Yeah, you're like, thank you for making it to where us with hamsters barely on wheels in our heads could know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, if I can remember.
I think yours is actually spinning. Mine's the one that we're just, that guy's just up there taking a nap. Happens to the best
Mine's
of us.
worn out.
Happens to the best of us. I can only say that. So... You can't thank Fly Racing enough for their ability to help us promote great times with Seat Time. Obviously, the new 2015 spring or summer kinetic mesh gear. Huge thanks to those guys. Using the hashtag PintfulOfAwesome to say, bam! Good times. That's what we want to promote. We're always about that, and hopefully you guys are enjoying what we have to put out. Of course, Kinda Tires, Kinda Tire USA. Huge supporter of Seat Time. Love running their stuff. Now that I've got a chance to kind of try out a couple different brands, models that they have. And Washougal 2s, I think, are some of the ones that are working the best all around. Looking forward to going back to the TKO in August because hopefully we get a chance to try out some of the newer kind of gummy prototypes that they're going to have coming out for that.
Last year.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. And then, of course, we're talking about just in Stillwell Performance. All of them great supporters of Seat Time, and we could hope that anybody that pays attention here, if nothing else, just go check out their website. Maybe ask your local dealers about anything that they may offer carried by those guys. Obviously, we would really appreciate that. So, yeah. Just
don't buy a set of used Kendas from this guy.
Yeah, they're pretty worn out by the time I get done with them.
After 1,600 miles of Baja, there's knobs left.
They're not they're there. They're there.
Bigger than most, but
bigger
smaller than some.
That's for sure. So thank you very much for paying attention to Seat Time. Of course, the website is seattime.co. That's where we archive the site. We are on Facebook, facebook.com/seattime. Twitter is at @seattime_co. We are on Instagram @seattime there, of course. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Stitcher. You can find us on iTunes. All of those are great places to subscribe to us. So that way when content comes up, bam, it's right there for you, ready to watch, listen, pay attention. Play for your mother. Maybe if you want us to get some of the Bostonian Rippas to do some nursery rhymes, we can put that up for you guys too. It's all possible. Just subscribe, have a good time with it, and see what happens. So, Steven, what did we miss?
I think we covered it all.
Covered it all. Yes. First show back in a while. I feel like we did okay.
Crank the cover down.
We didn't screw it down.
Call it
too
a wrap.
much. Awesome. Dad, thanks again for coming to town. Thanks again for supporting me and everybody else on the Rip To Cabo. It was great having you there.
Great being there.
Yeah, so that was
awesome. All your
awesome.
viewers, you get Jordan, not me, most of the time, thankfully.
They might be jealous. I don't know. We'll see. So, and remember, if nothing else, always enjoy a pint full of awesome. We will be back next week. Yes, 2 weeks in a row for you guys. It's going to be crazy. We'll see you then. Peace.